welcome to Mirror Shift Podcast, the space where women come to rewrite the story they see in the mirror. I am your host, Reva Davis, boudoir photographer, confidence coach, and your new self-love advocate.
Hello, gorgeous ladies. Welcome back to the Mirror Shift Podcast, where we challenge the beliefs that hold women back from loving themselves and each other. I'm your host, Reva Davis, a boudoir photographer who sees firsthand what women really struggle with behind the lens. I've been absent, MIA, for about 3 weeks. My family's been sick, so today we're going to get back at it. And today we're going to be talking about a topic many of us feel but rarely admit. Jealousy between women. You've seen it. You've felt it. You might have even caused it. But it's not what you think. I've watched women come into my studio terrified of the camera until they see that final photo and they suddenly say, like, what? Is that really me? But just as often, I've seen women scroll Instagram and say things like, oh, she's so fake. Or, I'd never wear that. I've heard them say, oh, she's too old to wear that. Like, girl, don't tell me I'm too old to wear anything, because I'll do it twice and take pictures and send it to you. But I get it. That girl's beauty might make you feel unseen. But here's the truth. Jealousy isn't about her. It's about what you haven't healed in yourself. Let's talk about what jealousy really is. It's not anger at her. It's pain in you. It shows up when another woman makes you feel like you're not enough. Sometimes. Or it could be a partner. So when I talk about my story in a few minutes, you'll see what I mean. Tearing another woman down doesn't build you up. It just keeps you in a cycle of stress and self-doubt. What if, instead of judging her, you asked yourself, why does her confidence make me uncomfortable? If I'm being honest about my own life, jealousy toward other women was never really the story for me. I've always been the kind of person who notices the beautiful things about others. I'm the woman who will stop and say, I love your outfit. Or your hair looks amazing. Or you can ask my friend Nikki. She'll tell you. When I first met her, I actually told her I thought she was absolutely stunning. And she just looked at me and told me how beautiful I was and that she loved me. So we're still friends to this day. But seeing the good in people has always come naturally to me. What didn't come naturally was seeing those same things in myself. For a long time, my insecurities didn't come from comparing myself to other women. They came from feeling like I wasn't enough in the eyes of everyone I loved. If you know anything about me, if you know my backstory at all. Hold on a second, I'm going to try not to get upset here. So my parents gave me up for adoption when I was little. My parents divorced when I was little, so I never really knew my dad. But the adoption was open. He just never came around. My mom came around for a while until my adopted parents told her she couldn't anymore. So there's a lot of struggle that comes from that for me. And then just also growing up with abuse and trauma is where all that comes from. So fast forward to when I have a partner, and a partner makes you feel small or less than. It has a way of changing how you see the world. It plants this quiet fear inside you that maybe there is always someone better, someone prettier, smarter, more exciting. So when I looked at other women, I didn't feel hatred towards them. I felt like they were everything I wasn't. I would look around and think everyone else was better than me. Even in those moments, though, becoming a hateful or jealous person, it just never felt right to me. It's not how I'm wired. I've always believed women should lift each other up, not tear each other down. As much as I was raised around it, I I did not fit in. I was always the black sheep, and you can ask anyone that knows me. And because I struggled to trust men for a long time, I often hoped I would find comfort in friendships with women. But during that season of my life, finding genuine friendships wasn't always easy. There was often drama, gossip, competition mixed into those relationships, and it didn't feel healthy for me. I mean, I already had so much going on in my life, it was a no. So I just learned to step back, keep to myself, avoid friendships that were filled with negativity. I chose distance instead of chaos. Part of that came from the fact that I'm a guarded person. Past trauma has a way of teaching you to protect your heart carefully. And it takes a lot for me to truly let people in. But something else is true about me too. When I see something special in someone, like real kindness, authenticity, depth, I hold on to that. I admire those qualities deeply, and I think the world of that person. Over time, I realized something important. Every one of us has the ability to choose who we want to be. We can choose kindness. We can choose integrity. We can choose to see the good in others without tearing ourselves down in the process. Like, know who you are as a woman. And this is easy, I promise you. Living in jealousy over something you are capable of creating for yourself is exhausting. And the truth is, you don't have to stay in that place. You can choose something better. Another experience for me. These are like personal stories that I'll talk about. One I'm not very proud of. Like, I can remember the first time I truly realized that sometimes women just dislike other women simply because of how they look. It honestly just left me feeling confused more than anything. I can remember when I was younger, I was talking to this guy. He was a little bit older than me. He had invited me out to a bonfire with some of his friends. I didn't really know most of the people there, but I figured, like, it'll be a relaxed way to spend the evening and kind of get to know him a little better, see what he's about. Well, there was this other woman there, and she was probably about 20 years older than me, and it didn't take long for me to realize she was interested in him too, because every time the attention was brought to me, she would take it back to herself, which is fine. I mean, I wasn't even sure how I felt about him. I was mostly just along for the ride to see what kind of person he was. But every time he would direct his attention towards me, I could feel the tension. And we were all sitting around the fire, and it seemed like whenever he spoke to me, she would quickly try to pull the attention back to herself. And at first I didn't think much of it, or try to, because I'm that person, like, I'm an overthinker, but also in the moment, it's like I don't know if it's my brain doing it, trying to protect me, but I'll ignore things. Like, even if someone insults me, I'll sit there and take it or ignore it. Usually. I'm not someone who enjoys conflict, so I mostly stay quiet and just try to let things roll off my shoulders. But as the night went on, the comments towards me became sharper. Eventually, the conversation turned to where I was working at the time, which was a lingerie store. And as soon as it came up, she snapped at me, and she said she hated that place because it catered to skinny B-words like me. And I had been sitting there absorbing all of her remarks most of the evening, but in that moment, something in me finally just snapped back. I regretfully fired an insult right back at her about her body too. It wasn't my proudest moment, even though I had been taking insults from someone who had already decided she didn't like me. Responding that way didn't feel good afterwards. And the truth is, I never wanted to compete with her in the first place. I wasn't even sure about the man we were both sitting there over. I had just hoped everyone could relax and get along. To this day, I still regret the way I responded to her, not because I believed she was right to treat me the way she did, but because that moment didn't reflect the kind of person I truly wanted to be. That experience stayed with me, though. It was one of the first times I saw how insecurity and jealousy can sometimes turn women against each other. even when neither woman really deserves to be in that position. And if I could go back and sit by that fire again, I think I would handle it very differently. Another personal story. Something I've learned over the years is people often create entire stories about you without ever actually knowing you. So I have a strong online presence. I hear it from clients all the time. Women will tell me, "You seem so confident." They say they admire how I just post what I want, what I think, without worrying about what people think. Some even tell me they wish they had that same level of confidence. And in some ways, they're right. I am confident in what I do for a living. I'm confident in my work as a photographer, and I'm confident in what I believe women are capable of becoming. I truly believe women can rise above the things that try to hold them back. But what many people don't realize is that confidence in one area of life doesn't mean you're immune to insecurity. Behind the scenes, I wrestle with many of the same doubts that other women carry. I question whether I'm enough. I wonder if my work is good enough. I ask myself if I'm doing a good job as a mom, a wife, a business owner. Those quiet doubts are something most women know all too well. So imagine my surprise when I learned that a woman I had never even met had formed an entire opinion about me based solely on what she saw on social media. As a boudoir photographer, I'm trained by professionals, even other business owners, not just boudoir photographers. But because I am a boudoir photographer, that adds to the insecurity of another woman. But when you own a business, you have to push yourself out there. You have to be friendly. People send you friend requests. You have to accept it because people want to see you. They want to know you before they hire you. You have to do this. You have to socialize. And that's what I was doing. And apparently it was too much for her mentality. But anyways, I'm going to continue. In her mind, she created a version of me that wasn't real. She believed things about my personality, my life, and my intentions that simply weren't true. Not only had she built this narrative in her own head, but she had also spoken about it openly to others who only knew me through my online presence. It was hurtful when I found out, more eye-opening than anything, because it reminded me of something important. People will often interpret your life through the lens of their own insecurities, experiences, and assumptions. What they see online isn't always the full picture. Sometimes it's just a version of you that fits the story they've already written in their mind. And the thing that helped me navigate that moment was something simple. I know who I am. I know my intentions. I know my heart. I know the kind of woman I strive to be. And when you know your truth, it becomes a lot easier to stand steady, even when someone else is telling a story about you that was never yours to begin with. Drake said it best. Jealousy is just love and hate at the same time. The next time you feel that sting of comparison, ask, what part of me needs love right now? Her glow doesn't dim yours. You are light too. And maybe, just maybe, she's not your rival. She's a mirror. Another woman's beauty is not a threat. It's a reminder of what's possible in me. One insight I've gained from photographing women for so many years is this. Jealousy between women is rarely about hate. It's about longing. When a woman feels jealous of another woman, most of the time it isn't because she dislikes her. It's because she sees something in that woman that she secretly wants for herself. Confidence, freedom, beauty, boldness, a life she wishes she felt brave enough to claim. But instead of asking, how can I create that for myself? Many women stay stuck in comparison. They watch, they measure, they criticize, not realizing the very thing they admire is actually a mirror showing them what is possible for them too. Working with women in my studio has shown me something incredible. The women you envy isn't magic or different than you. She simply decided she was allowed to be the woman she wanted to be. And the truth is, you're allowed to become her too. Thanks for spending a few minutes reflecting with me today. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a sister who needs to hear it. And remember, the real glow up begins in your mind.
Thanks for spending a few minutes reflecting with me today. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a sister who needs to hear it. And remember, the real glow up begins in your mind. Follow me on Instagram at Reba Davis Boudoir and subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode.